Test.
I know I have to put this on. I apologize in advance. You're going to hear this echo. There's not much I can do about the echo part. If I don't keep this on, online can't hear us. So, now we're going to run things a little bit different tonight because we have the person that's going to be elected by the board and replace Bill Parker. So we're going to go with the presentation the kids are going to have first. Then we're going to have a public comment just on the candidates. So anybody online or anybody here that wants to give their idea or discussion on the candidates, it is separate from these, completely separate from these. It's just going to be on the candidates only. After that, the discussion will go amongst the board, then we'll vote somebody in, we'll swear them in, and then we'll start with the actual agenda for the evening. Sound good? All right, so first we're going to do our Falcon 4 presentation tonight.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Pottsgrove Middle School. I'm Felicia Gonzalez, and I'm the principal. Tonight, we have the pleasure of having two sixth grade students who created an amazing presentation on our current PBIS system. They're going to talk about what it's all about and explain our Falcon 4.
Hi, my name is Morgan Gray.
And my name is Kareen Srouwer. We are both sixth graders at Pottsgrove Middle School, and we are here presenting what the Falcon 4 means to us and how it impacts Pottsgrove. The acronym PBIS stands for Positive Behavior Intervention and Supports. There are 3 levels of support. At each tier, students have the opportunity to receive exactly what they need. PBIS makes Pottsgrove a positive and enjoyable experience.
The Falcon 4. The Falcon 4 is a list of expectations each student at Pottsgrove Middle School is anticipated to follow. Each expectation ensures our school with a positive environment. The first expectation is for each student to be safe to themselves and to others. In addition, responsibility is a part of our Pottsgrove community. Responsibility takes a toll on each student's daily lives to prepare them for the day. Following safety and responsibility is respect. Respect is all throughout the school and is a contagious attitude to all. Lastly, we have positivity and kindness growing in our district.
The Falcon 4 stabilizes the Pottsgrove Middle School's community. For instance, responsibility can be demonstrated by showing ownership, being punctual for all of your classes, and submitting your assignments on time. The safety program provided at Pottsgrove Middle School ensures the students an attentive and well-trusted nursing system. The Divine Nurses assist any injured or students in need at the best of their abilities. Our security system offers an invulnerable environment as well. Among all the other actions presented in our school, respect is another. Our middle school has inputted supportive posters throughout the hallways and classrooms, reassuring each student a bully-free zone. Positivity continues to flourish all around each individual. A subtle act of kindness can create a heartwarming effect on somebody. Each of these expectations impact the Pottsgrove Middle School with a pristine and educational environment.
Student of the Month. At the beginning of every month, a qualified student from each team is selected as the Student of the Month. Students of the Month are awarded for demonstrating all of the expectations of the Falcon Four. A picture of each designated student is displayed outside the auditorium to honor their assiduous behavior. Each nominated student is granted a certificate to value their affection towards the Pottsgrove Middle School.
Golden tickets. Golden tickets are distributed to ideal students who denote the Falcon Four. Students deposit the golden tickets awarded from educators and staff into a container Monday through Thursday. Every Friday, over the daily announcements, 8 representatives are chosen randomly from the container for displaying appropriate examples. The selected students advance to the second floor office to receive their prize. The 4 prizes possible to obtain are a t-shirt, pencil, cup, and a miniature foam football. This procedure continues throughout the year.
Student recognition days are organized by our educators and staff for eligible students. To take part in the student recognition activities, less than 10 points are required. Points are received by participating in disciplinary actions. We assemble student recognition activities to congratulate these role models. Why do we do this? Students get what they need. Students learn social and emotional skills. This also decreases discipline and increases positive behavior. Students are excited and proud to come to school.
Welcome to the 2021-2022 school year at Pottsgrove Middle School. Embedded throughout the culture of Pottsgrove Middle School are the Falcon 4 expectations. Be safe, be responsible, be respectful, and be positive. In each classroom and throughout all areas of the school, students have the opportunity to earn golden tickets. Each week, students from each grade level can enter their golden tickets for the chance to win a unique Pottsgrove-themed prize as a reward for their positive choices. Each marking period, all students can earn the opportunity to participate in a school-wide event.
For me, being safe is like not goofing around during school and not running in the halls or just disrupting in general. It's like keeping yourself safe and keeping others like in your environment safe as well. Just making sure you're always like doing what you're supposed to and not like hurting anyone or hurting yourself in any way.
Hi, my name is Doris Saleh, and this is the fun part. Being positive to me means being nice to your teachers, nice to your classmates, and making sure that you're coming to school every day with a good attitude, and you're not being disrespectful to teachers. Making sure that they also are enjoying their time here, and that they're learning, and that you communicate with your teachers, your peers, and that you do your work on time, and that you're just being positive.
Be respectful, treat everyone well, even if they may not have treated you the best, or if you don't have an opinion on them or something like that. So treat everyone nicely, and yeah, be respectful to them.
And be responsible. Keep things in order so you can have a good, organized life. And that's it.
I teach gifted and accelerated language arts. And to me, the Falcon 4 is what helps you be your best. If you're safe, if you're positive, if you're respectful and responsible, then you can be the best student, the best person that you can be. That's why I like the Falcon 4.
Now, if you are listening and being respectful, golden tickets will now be distributed.
Thank you very much, ladies. Does anybody have any questions to the presenters? Well, thank you, ladies. That was very informative. All right, so we're going to move on to the board vote and seating. So, like I said, here's what we're going to do first. I'm going to give public comment to anybody here and anybody online, Dr. Ramage, that wants to speak strictly about this, that has nothing to do yet with agenda items or second agenda items. It's strictly for if you have any questions or comments about who we're going to vote for tonight. Is anybody in the public here have something they want to talk about? Going on. Anybody on topic? No hands up. All right, so then we're going to go to the board here. So here's how we're going to do things, right? Obviously, it's open for open discussion, as in we're going to discuss the 7 candidates. After the discussion, I'm going to ask you, of course, as in your top 2 or top 3 individuals. This is not a vote. This is just your top 2 or 3 individuals that you are interested in seeing a little bit more about. Then we'll get that tally down. We'll get down to the 2 or 3 people that have the highest votes. Then we'll, if any more discussion, if there is, then we will actually do a vote. Highest vote obviously gets to go on. Lowest votes get out. If a person gets 5 votes on the voting time, that person is going to be the person that will be sitting in Bill's old chair. All right? So I'm going to start. I got a tally right here. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Nippert. Do you have any questions? How did the public go? What are your thoughts on the individuals that you're looking for?
You want my top 2?
If you don't have any discussion or you don't have any comments, then yeah, just give me your top 2.
My top 2 are the 2 women, Denise and...
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the second one. I heard Denise.
Debbie?
Jim?
No discussion, just for my top 3 would be Bill Thompson, Tony, and Kevin.
I didn't hear the second one. It was Bill, It was Kevin and
Tony.
Tony. Ashley.
All right, my top three actually mirror Jim's. So Bill, Tony, and Kevin.
All right, Joe, I'm going to come around to you.
It's going with Corman, Hitt, and Bickert.
Third one?
Bickert.
Pittman.
Bickert.
Oh, Tony. We got
I had,
Andy Corman,
Kevin Hitt.
Kevin Hitt, and Tony Bickert.
Bickert.
Kevin Hitt. Go ahead.
Bill, Debbie, and Tony.
We got Bill, Debbie, and Tony.
First, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out because this is like really an important decision we have to make, and it's so nice to see everybody that wants to come out and help with the community. My two picks would be Debbie and Tony. Tony.
Tina.
I wanted to say that the only reason I didn't choose Tony was merely the time commitment, and I was fearful of protecting his time because we know that it takes much longer than 2 to 3 hours. Even just a night like this is, just the start of the week for us. It's hard to argue that there's a nicer person than Tony Bickert. He is amazing. But that is the only reason I didn't choose him. So my top three would be Mr. Thompson, Ms. Takakji, and Mr. Hitt. Kevin.
All right. First, I want to thank all 7 candidates to come up and sit over there in front of everybody and in front of the public and everything like that. I applaud each and every one of you. I hope to see all of these names, or at least a good portion of these names, at the next election and such like that. I kind of wish I could ask a follow-up question, but I'm not going to because we didn't do that. So I'm going to give my top 3 of Tony, Bill, and Kevin. So if I have the numbers correct, I got 6 for Tony, 5 for Kevin, and 5 for Bill. Is that correct, Ashley?
6 for Tony. 5 for Bill. 4 for Kevin.
You got 4. Okay. Do you have? How many do you have for? Anybody else have 4?
3 for Debbie. 4 for Debbie also.
All right, so I didn't have anything. All right. So then if we have the same amount for Kevin and for Debbie, does anybody that said they were in their top 5 want to discuss one or the other as in why you feel that person should move to the next round? Yeah, I know it's so bad with this echo, and I apologize. So right now we have Tony is going to move on. We have Bill Thompson who's going to move on. They have the most votes. We're looking for the third person. So right now we have the same amount of votes for, I was told, for Kevin, and I was told for Debbie. We have both had the same amount of votes. Is there anybody that wants to say or speak up on any of those 2 candidates of why they should move on to the next round? This is not a vote. This is simply just moving on to the next round.
Well, I'd like to speak up for Kevin. He has a child in the district, so I think that doesn't make my decision at all. It just, I think that helps us as a board personally. That's my opinion. That's not thing. So I'd like to take a shot with Kevin as the third person in there also. to hear from them.
Anybody else? All right, go ahead.
I mean, I've known Debbie Mermilius for a long time, and she's a great person. She's taught with our kids. She had 3 daughters that came through our school that were very productive, and her husband was treasurer for, I actually replaced him, Fred Vermilius. So I know the family's a good family. I know she's dedicated, and just from being so kind and caring about the students, that's really one of the reasons. That's what I'm looking for in a school board person. So.
Anybody else? All right, I'm going to ask you to vote on just those 2 candidates. That's it. This is not a vote. This is simply to move to the next round. It's either Kevin or Debbie for the next round. Dr. Nipper. Just second round. Then we're going to go to the finals. Kevin or Debbie? Debbie. Ashley. Debbie, Kevin. Ashley.
Debbie, Kevin. I'm a
Kevin.
Kevin.
3.
Debbie?
4. 2. 5. All right, so now I'm going to, if anybody has any comment of the 3 candidates, we have 3 candidates left. This is your actual vote for who you want to replace Bill. You have Tony, you have Kevin, and you have Bill Thompson. So Kevin Hitt, Tony Bickard, Bill Thompson. You're now voting on who you want. If there's anything you want to say about any of those candidates, or why you want to pick a particular candidate, speak up. If you want to say something, speak, Dr. Nipper. And if there's no more discussion, yes. Is there any more discussion first? All right, now we're going to vote. Who do you want to be replaced? You want Bill? Bill. Ashley.
Tony.
Tony. Joe. Tony.
Bill?
2 and 2.
Bill?
Bill?
Tony.
Tony?
Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Thompson? Unfortunately, I have to vote. Then my vote's for Tony, so it's 4-4. All right? So now, what we're going to do is obviously it's between these 2 people, right? Does anybody want to say why they voted for whom they voted for?
Hopefully, I don't know how much of an echo this is going to give off. The reason I was someone that poked Bill Thompson to run, part of the reason being is I've known Bill for probably 17, 18 years. Known him for a very long time. And he's one of those people that I know that we don't always agree, but he's one of those people that when you're discussing things with him, if he doesn't agree with you, he will find the proof to either prove himself correct or admit that he was incorrect. And that's one of the things I like about him. He doesn't just, simply cross his arms and say, no, I'm right, and that's it. He will argue with you, and then he will try to find, proof to prove himself or, admit defeat and say, you're right. But beyond that, he's somebody that I've known to show complete compassion and honor and just be a real decent human being. So like I said, I've known him for 17, 18 years, and that's, I trust him with my family, so that's how I look at it, so.
Is there anybody else?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, we're in such a good spot. We can't lose with either candidate. We cannot lose. As I said, the only reason I didn't put Mr. Bickert in the top 3 was because of the time commitment, and I was concerned for his time. I don't think you can find a better guy out there than Mr. Bickert. I loved Mr. Thompson's answers, both in person as well as his questionnaire. And the different comments that he's made over the course of time at board meetings have been very, I guess he referred to himself as a great mediator, and you could hear those sentiments in his comments prior, and I felt like that's a good type of person to be able to come together and bring people into agreement for the betterment of the kids, which is why I chose him first. Thanks.
Anybody else?
Yep, I'm going to go for Tony. Tony has been dedicated to our district, not only as our IT, in our IT department, but I always felt I could trust him. And I know that aside from his job here, I knew he always had the confidentiality because his wife used to be our secretary. You would never even know the two were ever married. That's how professional they were. And then whenever it came time to giving out meals, I think Tony was on the Education Foundation, president there. He has always been involved, not only in pride of his employer, but his kids, his community. He's the first one to roll the sleeves up and get the job done. And you've never, and all of you know that, never heard him ever complain. And with that said, I think he would be a perfect fit to sit across from me.
Anybody else? All right, then I'm going to speak up for Tony as well. I've always picked the individuals. We've had to go through this a few times. And I've always looked at the board as in what we bring, who we can represent in the community and such like that. And for me, it's always been, okay, we have people that are in education, we have family members that are in accounting or numbers, we have business people, we have retired people, we have teachers, we have real estate agents, and we have additional educational and engineering and such like that. So I've always thought of, okay, out of the candidates, what would they bring to the actual board? Out of the two, right, I looked at Tony and I sat there and said, okay, quite frankly, as much as we rely on technology, hence this echo and everything, that we don't seem to have someone that has the expertise in that area representing the community. Tony has an expertise that I don't think we have currently on the board, which is why I put him as my number one choice. Not saying that Bill isn't a great person. I take Bill, I take Kevin, I take Denise, I take Mr. Boyce, Debbie, Andy. Every one of them represents a perfect element in our community. It's just he had an expertise that I didn't feel the board had, and that's why I was voting for Tony. All right, so I'm going to ask one more time if anybody is going to change their mind here, because there's no reason for me to go person by person again. If anybody is willing to change, are you willing to change to one or the other?
I will.
Who are you switching to?
I'll switch to Bill.
You switch to Bill? Mm-hmm. All right. All right, Bill. Is Bill Thompson here? All right, Bill, you win. Oh, we want to swear him in, right? Yeah, I need that paper. Congratulations. You want me to go around there or stay right here?
No, you can go around, but let me, just give me a second.
I left the Bible over there. Dr. Nippers, you can just grab that and give that back. The Bible.
Which version of the Bible?
I don't know.
Does it make it legal? I don't know.
All right, so congratulations, Bill. And we're going to move on to the agenda now. So first, we have the executive session. Just a note on executive session. We had an executive session held before tonight, 228, before to handle personnel. Now, we're going to move to the first public comment. So for first public comment, I have one person, Katie Copa. We're going to talk about policy. Come on up. And if you could just state your name and address, of course. Township, not an address.
Yep. Katie Copa, Upper Pottsgrove. Tonight, I would like to bring a matter to the attention, and hopefully we'll discuss it later in the agenda, about a recent policy change that was made to school board policy on January 25th. Prior to this change, which was subsection 6 related to meetings, the published policy dated April 2021 read as follows in relation to remote attendance. Recognizing that it may not always be possible for every board member to be physically present at every meeting, members shall be permitted to attend remotely not more than 2 meetings remotely during any calendar year. This proposed change was made January 25th to remove the 2 per calendar year limit on remote attendance. In-person meetings resumed in August. However, since in-person meetings resumed, our school board allowed one recently departed board member to attend remotely 12 times in 2021. I have brought this to the attention of the school board, yes. The responses that I received, unfortunately, did not acknowledge being out of compliance with this policy. To the newest member of the school board, I hope that I and all the members of the public can count on you to act with integrity, to learn the policies and duties expected of the board and follow them. I hope the public can count on you to listen, to understand, not just to respond. And lastly, I hope that the public can count on you to admit it when you've gotten it wrong. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Ramage, is there anyone online with a hands up? All right, we're going to move on to the student report.
Good evening, everyone. Over the month of January, Lily and I traveled to the other schools to see what we could do to make them better. Here are the results that we found most valuable from each school. From West Pottsgrove, students would like to see paper towels in the bathrooms, and just because they really wanted me to say it, they want a bigger gym. From Lower Pottsgrove, they would also like to see more paper towels in the bathroom, new or improved recess and playground equipment, and an expanded and improved tutoring system. Students from the middle school would like to see improvements in the bathroom, better sanitation, and again, more paper towels. They would like to also have more clubs. We visited Ringing Rocks this past Friday. We will update the board next month on those student comments.
We have received great information by visiting our different schools. Unfortunately, I was not able to visit West Pottsgrove since that was during midterms week, but I received great feedback from Matt. Something important we received from the middle school is also a big problem at the high school, the installation of feminine products in the school's bathrooms. We have begun to approach this problem by speaking with Dr. Finnerty on installing stations in the bathrooms and hallways where anyone can get the products they need without having to go to the nurse. Some of the middle schoolers have reached out, and I'm glad to know their voices are being heard. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
I do have a question. During, I guess, was that lower? At lower, you said that the students asked for an expanded and improved tutoring system. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Absolutely. So it was brought to our attention that they have a tutoring system in place, but it's not really like effective. Students don't know like anything about it, and they're also just scared to say anything that like they need help. They want it that like a teacher will reach out to them, make them know that there is an option if they need the help, and that if it's possible, have student tutors.
And when it comes to the tutoring part, was that information given to the principal then?
After-school tutoring is a district goal that we're working on to install at all 5 of our buildings. It is currently up and running at several of the buildings and should be up and running before the end of the week at all 5. So that was a great message, and it's wonderful when kids want exactly what we're working on.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to the approval of minutes.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 7 approval of minutes, which includes 7.1 through 7.2.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve both 7.1 and 7.2 approval of minutes. Do I have any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 8.1, receiving of the accounts.
Gotcha, thank you. I move that we accept the high school accounts, middle school, and cafeteria accounts as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the receiving the accounts for the buildings. Do I have any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
I move that we approve payments in the invoices in the amount of $4,707,724.39 for January 2022 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve January's billing. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Treasurer's report.
I move that we approve the treasurer's report for January 2022 as presented and file it for audit.
I have a motion and a second to approve the Treasury report for January 2022. Does anybody have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Report of the superintendent, please.
Thank you, sir. Tonight I have a couple of items to talk about. First off, tonight we'll be approving the retirement of our high school principal, Dr. Bill Ziegler, and accepting the resignation of our high school assistant principal, Mr. Eric Daney. Dr. Ziegler will be transitioning to a position outside of education. A little bit about him. He is a graduate of Pottsgrove and has served our district since 2002 as high school assistant principal, middle school principal, and for the last 9 years as our high school principal. Mr. Daney has been with our district since 2015, serving as a high school assistant principal, and he will be moving on to the Penridge School District to become their supervisor of science. Both Dr. Ziegler and Mr. Daney will be with us through March 25th. To both Bill and Eric, we thank you for your incredible service to Pottsgrove and wish you both the very best moving forward. As we both thank you, Bill and Eric, we also must plan to identify new leadership and support the remainder of this school year. Today, we began the process of interviewing for our next high school principal. The interview process will consist of 3 rounds and will include teachers, parents, and students. We hope to approve a candidate as soon as later this month. Rest assured that we're not going to rush the process. If we don't have the right candidate, we will extend the search. To support our high school until new leadership is in place, we'll be hiring an interim administrator and shifting district administration to the high school to provide support. I know I saw Bill. Is Eric in the room? Bill, I know that some board members will talk about you later, but I just want to thank you for everything you've done for Pottsgrove, and I really appreciate this time that we had together, and I wish you all the best. So thank you. 2 other congratulations. I had the distinct pleasure of watching our high school wrestling team win the Pioneer Athletic Conference Frontier Division. And we are graced with one of those wrestlers. It was senior night that night, Matt. How'd you do?
I lost.
That is not true. Matt did very well and had a pin and 6 points for our team. So thank you very much, and congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you.
And lastly, but not least, this week is School Counselor Appreciation Week. School counselors, you might know them as guidance counselors, but they're actually called school counselors. And I know, speaking for me as a superintendent and as a former principal and teacher, I am a huge, huge proponent of our school counselors, what they do to support kids when they need it, to support them through issues inside and outside of school, to support them in choosing courses and charting their path towards post-secondary success. I'm a huge fan. So this is their week. If you get a chance, thank a school counselor. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. We're going to move to personnel, 12.1.
I'd like to motion to combine 12.1 and 12.2.
Second.
12.1 and 12.2.
I have a motion and a second to approve the retirements of Dr. William Ziegler and Mr. Daney. Do I have any comments or questions?
I have some comments. Dr. Ziegler was around when both my kids came through the school, and to be quite honest, this is a huge loss. I can't talk about it too much or I'll get too emotional. But Bill, I thank you, and my family thanks you for all your dedication to Pottsgrove. And we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Anybody else? Then I'm going to talk. Dr. Ziegler and Mr. Daney are going to be huge losses in our high school. They're going to leave some huge shoes to fill for whomever we hire as the assistant and the principal. Dr. Ziegler's been with the district so long, I don't remember a time when he actually wasn't with the district. I mean, I moved here in 2001, and Dr. Ziegler's been here since 2002, so he literally is here with my kids through middle school, then through high school. I mean, he was their principal pretty much for every year they were in school, from middle school on almost, exactly. 1 year missed because he went away with the year after. So I'm really sorry to say I'm going to miss them too very, very much, but I hope you guys get exactly what you're looking for in your new endeavors, and I hope the Apple is definitely going to get somebody great, Dr. Ziegler. The new district with Mr. Daney, wherever you are out there, good luck with your science and such. So it's really a tough one to say than this one for me. All right, all those in favor improve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 12.3.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve under personnel 12.3 through 12.11.
I have a motion to approve 12.3 to 12.11. Is that the two? Wait a minute, hold on. All right. I got a motion to approve the two, but we're going to speak on both of those people in the end anyway. Does anybody have any comments or questions? We're going to do 12. We're going to, yeah. Take out 12.4. For the record, we're going to take 12.4 out. 12.4. 12.3, 12.5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Does anybody have any comments or questions on 12.3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11? All those in favor? Any opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Linky. All right, let's do 12.4 separate. I have a motion and a second to approve Yvette Young to take over for Jeff's position as our Director of Facilities. Does there have any comment or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ms. Yvette Young, you're here. Congratulations. Welcome to the district. And trust me, you also have some huge shoes to fill with Jeff leaving. All right, we're going to go to 12.12.
Recommend we approve 12.12. Make a motion, we approve 12.12.
I got a motion and a second to approve 12.12 supplemental staff for the spring athletic appointments. Does I have any comments or questions on that?
Is that
Jay and Tina. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes.
I abstain.
You abstain?
I abstain
Okay.
from this one, yes.
She has to abstain for her husband. Let's move to 12.13, supplemental appointments.
I make a motion that we approve 12.13.
I got a motion and a second to approve 12.13, supplemental staff appointments. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Move on to the MCIU membership budget.
I'd like to make a motion we approve 13, which would to be 13.1 through 13.3.
Second?
I have a motion and a second for 13.1 through 13.3. Anybody have any comments or questions? All right, I have a comment in regards to, if you could just point out to the public about the MCIU budget. I think there is a nice little number there we want to point out to the public for next year. Yeah, go ahead.
So the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit Member Services budget, in accordance with school code, requires action by each of the local school districts served by the MCIU. The 22-23 membership service budget was reviewed and approved by the Montgomery County Superintendent's Council at their meeting on December 9th, 2021. The budget was reviewed and approved by the MCIU Board of Directors at their meeting at January 26, 2022. The attached is a copy of the budget that was approved. Please note that the 22-23 total membership service contribution reflects an overall $491 decrease when compared to the 2021-22 amount.
I thank that to the community, obviously, with everybody knows how much inflation's been going crazy, and the fact that we're actually going to be doing the budget with a couple dollars less. Anything less is better than going up. All right, we're going to move to 14.1, course name change. Did we vote? No. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Move to 14.1.
I'll second.
I got a motion and a second to approve 14.1 to 14.4 for all items under education. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Move the committee items.
I'll make a motion that we approve committee items 15.1 and 15.2, 15.3.
Second.
I get a motion to approve 15.1 through 15.3 for all the meeting minutes. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Policy committee report, please.
Okay, for policy, we had two policies. One was on terroristic threats, which was just another fun continuation of threat assessments, and that really just added into the whole threat assessment team and was just on who reports to whom during a terroristic threat. The one that was more important to, or one that more that the families need to pay attention to is the other policy, policy 204, which is on attendance. This one expands the number of days that students will have that can be counted as unexcused. It also changes a lot of the wording as far as where before it's, cannot be to may be, where before you could, had to have a doctor's excuse to maybe needed a doctor's excuse. This one is already at the 30 days, so we'll be voting on this the next 30 days from now. But this one is going to be a bit confusing in the sense that the student handbooks are not going to match up with this policy. So the I guess there's, from what I understand, information will be going out to families to let them know of the changes to the attendance policy when this does happen. So families just will need to pay attention. It's all positive things. It gives them a lot more freedom for excusing as far as like quarantine. The days from quarantine will no longer count towards unexcused, but there's going to be a lot of changes that families will have to pay attention to, and they will be notified when that does happen. So hopefully that wasn't more confusing than I think it was. Sorry.
Thank you. Does anybody have any comments or questions in regards to policy committee? Hearing none. Thank you, Jim. We're going to move on to new business, please. Dr. Finnerty, you first. Tina.
Nothing from me, thanks.
Patty.
I would just like to let everybody know that I just found out last night at the JOC meeting, this is CTE month. So every day we have a new director, new principal, things are just brightening up like I couldn't even, as we all know, but every day they're surprising with the teachers with something new, whether it's donuts, water, thank you cards. So if you see any of our students that go to the Western Center, congratulate them because this is their month.
Congratulations, Matt. All right, Jay. Joe. All right, students, what do we got? Anything? All right, coming around. Dr. Nippert. Jim.
Every year we have this meeting in this room, and every year we can't hear anyone speak. Can we next year have this in the library or in a different room that does not have such a high ceiling and an echo?
I'm gonna go back and ask a second shot. There is a room with superb acoustics in this building, a couple hundred feet that away. It's called the auditorium. It has acoustics in it. I have heard about 1/10 of this, and there's no problem with my hearing. There is a problem with meeting in this room. And it's nothing against the building, it's nothing against the people here, and it's nothing against any individual. It's just the acoustics here are awful. A comparable place to this room would be, let's have the meeting at 30th Street Station on track 21. At least I could be entertained by watching Amtrak.
I completely agree.
And there'd be
This
food
is
trucks
just
down there,
horrible.
too.
Hopefully, maybe next year we can move to the auditorium. This is really, really bad. And it's been bad. It's nothing, it's easy setup, and I understand. It's just, we got to move. But we have to come here because I won't ever say no to coming. I want to go to each school, but I agree with everybody. The auditorium for this particular building, it's so bad.
See with the auditorium is that we'd be up on the stage and we wouldn't be able to actually see the people because they'd be down in the audience. I think it'd be too hard to interact. That's my only concern with that. You know, that's why I suggested the library, or I don't know if there's an equivalent to the LGI room in the middle school. I don't think there is, but just something better than in here.
I'll leave it to the AV experts to figure out what's the best setup, because I know the library would have to change a lot of the desks and such. The auditorium doesn't have to change, and yes, we would be higher up. I've watched a lot of actually board meetings, other boards, so they only do their board meetings from the auditorium. So, I mean, again, this is next year, it's always the same time, it's always February time frame. Here and the Western, or between, we go back and forth in February usually, so I agree 100%. Bill, well, welcome. You got any new business there for us? Ashley. For me, I have two things. First, welcome, Bill. We'll catch you up on all the ins and outs that are going on. All right, so you'll give that. Second thing for the public comment. I do want this out so everybody knows, right? Andy, Dustin, and some have come at every meeting and talked about the health and safety plan. They're going to come up again and talk about the health and safety plan. But I want everybody to understand, our next board meeting, we are actually going to discuss about masking and the health and safety plan. So I implore anybody that wants to come, provided we're going to do this very cordially and professionally in this district, but I'm welcoming everybody to come so we can actually discuss a little bit more in depth about the health and safety plan. That being said, we're going to start with public comment. I'm going to bring up Brianna first because you have something different. You have the budget. Come on up, Brianna. And if you could just state your name and township, please, in 2 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Brianna Robinson. I live in Lower Pottsgrove, and I'm also a teacher at Rain Rocks. At the previous board meeting, the request to transfer money out of the PEASER account was discussed. I am here on behalf of the Pottsgrove Education Association to ask that funds are not transferred from accounts at this time to be put into capital projects. We feel that it is premature to move funding streams into inaccessible capital project funds or similar accounts. Last year, PGSD saw a 10% increase in state funding, and on February 8, 2022, and this was discussed at the last meeting, Governor Wolf again proposed increasing state funding. With an infusion of federal and state aid specifically directed to education, lower than anticipated retirement costs, and an uptick in turnover at Pottsgrove, any move by the district to send funds to inaccessible accounts, such as capital projects, would limit the district's flexibility to handle a host of uncertain costs coming its way, up to and including bargaining a successor contract with the association. This movement of funds would not give the school district much room to negotiate the expiring contract with PGEA, which could result in having to raise taxes above the Act 1 index, putting unnecessary stress on our districts and families. Thank you.
Thank you. Ava, come on up. Ava, if you could just state your name and township, please.
Hi, my name is Ava Saylor. I'm in 3rd grade at Lower Pottsgrove Elementary School. I wear my mask every day as I'm mandated to by the school board. I still got COVID, which was a headache and a stuffy nose. COVID caused me to miss 8.5 days of learning. I was given assignments to do, and I had no opportunity to do have any instruction from my teacher like we had last school year. Every day in class, I think my teacher spends more time telling students to pick up your mask than she does anything else. We are given 10 minutes to eat snack, then you are told to eat around your mask when the timer goes off. Can I ask how this is helpful? If there is indoor recess, we only have snack and lunch as mask breaks. I wear my mask every day at school and I have more stuffy noses than ever this year. The masks are leaving bacteria to sit on my face and be in my mouth and nose all day long. I am 9 years old. Why do I have pimples on my face? Oh, right, another side effect of wearing a mask. Besides the bacteria and it making me more sick this school year than ever, I do enjoy seeing my friends' faces like I can when I'm at sports practices or games anywhere else I go that I'm not mandated to wear a mask. The grocery store, the mall, an ice hockey game like the Phantoms, I can tell you there have been no benefits to me wearing a mask. I got my mild cold, also known as COVID, anyway, and continue
10
to
seconds.
have stuffy nose. Which, by the way, I got yelled at for taking my mask down to wipe my nose, so then I end up having more snot on my face, and I'm sure that's
Your time is
good
up.
too, right? Thank you for your time.
Ava, thank you very much. That was very courageous. I hope you stand up for what you believe all the time. Andy, come on up. Name, address, of course.
Andrew Corman, Upper Pottsgrove Township. Congratulations, Ava. You're very courageous. And welcome, Mr. Thompson. I hope I got your name right. Congratulations. A quote from Benjamin Franklin: "To those who would give up liberty to pursue a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." COVID cases are currently plummeting in the U.S. as the Omicron surge wanes. While absolute case numbers remain high, we are seeing nearly a 50% week-over-week decline. This is happening all over the nation. It's happening in places with mask mandates and places without. It is happening in places with high vaccination rates and those without. It is happening in places with proof of vaccination requirements and places without. It's happening whether you have a school mask mandate or not. It's happening whether you provide random testing or not. It's happening whether you have virtual or in-person learning. It's happening whether you have contact tracing or not. The COVID narrative is falling apart. Yesterday, the Penn Ridge School District in Bucks County, nearby to Bucks County, 30 miles away, just recently updated their health and safety plan. I will read a few of their updates, which include: masks may be worn at the discretion of the individual while on the Penn Ridge property or participating in district events. This was a 9-0 vote. Universal and correct wearing of masks per the ARP ESSER requirement. Another update: individuals should not attend school or work if they're experiencing symptoms of illness such as fever,
10
body
seconds.
aches, diarrhea. This is just simple common sense. We need to get back to normalcy. There is nothing normal about wearing a mask. Unmask our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Dustin, come on up. And state your name.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Dustin Datillo, Lower Pottsgrove. I'm going to bring you two quick studies, both from Johns Hopkins. Well-known doctors, scientists. They're both published articles. Researchers say lockdowns had no noticeable effect on reducing COVID-related deaths and a devastating effect on economies and social ills. We found no evidence that lockdowns, school closures, border closures, limiting gatherings had any noticeable effect on COVID. Second one, Dr. Marty Macri, spearheading a team at Johns Hopkins to do the work that the CDC and the NIH refused to do, showed that 99% of unvaccinated people known to have COVID have natural immunity for at least 650 days. You guys, I only bring these up because you guys don't look at any new information, like my children could have natural immunity. And you're forcing a mask over their face for absolutely no reason other than to gratify your guys' selves at this point. Everybody's been wrong. 8 months ago, I'm a conspiracy theorist if you said this virus came from a lab. I'm a conspiracy theorist if you said you could still get it vaccinated. I'm a conspiracy theorist if you say some people are in the hospital with COVID, not from COVID. You guys realize they were all wrong, and you're still following these people. The Montgomery County Public Office of Health, you keep referring to them. I don't ever see them here. They don't care about us. They don't come to our meetings, but you guys follow them, like God's word. You talk about going to the committee meeting on Tuesday, which I would love to do. Unfortunately, I have to work every day. I don't get breaks. I don't get to work virtual. I've worked every day of this pandemic. I've wrestled inmates that are sick, hacking all over the place. I don't get to take off. I guess
10
also
seconds.
what I'm saying is, if it's the teachers that are afraid, you guys have 2 layers of protection. You can get vaccinated and wear a mask. Drop the mask mandate. It's over.
Thank you. Katie, come on up. And state your name, township, again.
Katie Copa, Upper Pottsgrove. What I want for our children is normal school. I want events, classroom parties, parent volunteers, field trips, school dances, proms, all the things that make memories. Most importantly, I want smiles. Too much time has been wasted. Just today, middle school students and parents got an email that there would be no Valentine's Day dance this Friday. This is the second time this school year a dance has been canceled the week of. I asked why. Answer, a dance doesn't align with our current health and safety plan. Do you think the kids weren't excited for this? It's long past time for normal school for our kids. What I want to know from this board is, will you ever allow our children to get back to normal? If the answer is no, you need to explain why. As a parent and on behalf of my children, I ask you, why are you okay with putting drastic mitigation efforts into the laps of children, the least vulnerable? Why are you okay forcing children to cover their faces 8+ hours a day when they don't have to do so anywhere else? Why do you ignore the negative impacts prolonged mask wearing has had on children? Why are you okay with canceling events, excluding healthy children from school? All side effects of the county of our current health and safety plan. You can no longer pass the buck to Montgomery County. At last week's Montgomery County Commissioners meeting, their solicitor clearly stated that the county does have a guidance, but school districts are free to ignore it. The decision to continue to mask our children is yours and yours alone. It has been since December, when the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court overturned the Department of Health's mask mandate and found it to be unconstitutional. Each of you, may I remind you, took a pledge to uphold the Constitution when you were sworn into the school board. To my fellow parents who agree it's time we let our kids get back to normal, I implore you to make your voice heard. Talk to your kids, listen to them, hear them. Be their voice. If nothing else, your children will know you've had their backs when you show up for them. Speak up for them, stand up for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Ramage, do we have anybody online with a hand raised? No hand. Okay, then I need a motion to adjourn. I have a motion and a second. See you guys next week or 2 weeks.